Matt Nathanson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
McCabe Jenny here on 101.9 The Mix. I mean, congratulations, your 13th album.
Yes.
Where does all this music come from?
It's just been a long life. It's been well-paced, but it's been long. No, just always making music, always writing songs, always processing. It's really like the way that I process the universe. And there's been a lot to process, I feel like, in the last couple of years, right?
Definitely.
We've had a wild ride. So 2 records in succession, and another one kind of always cooking.
And this album, was it written during lockdown?
So part of it was, and I put out a record right after lockdown as well. A lot of that was, so yeah, it's been written in lockdown, and then once we got free from that, I went to Los Angeles. But I did a lot of Zoom writing, which I never in my life thought I would do.
Is
like
that how
writing songs.
Impossible People came to be? Was that Zoom writing?
Impossible People was on Zoom with a kid in Canada. We were going to have it was originally going to be kind of a fun side project, and that kind of got shelved with 2 other songwriters. And so that song and a song on the record called Whitney Houston's National Anthem, both of which came out of that writing. It's weird. It's strangely intimate. And I just met this kid in Boston. We played Boston the other night, and I'd written 2 songs with him, one on the last record and one on this record, and I'd still never met him because we wrote during the pandemic.
That's crazy.
It's weird. And I was like, hey, you're tall. He was like 6'1". And I was like, hey, you didn't look like this on TV.
Well, I mean, speaking of being on the road, tonight you're in Evanston.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to on this tour when you do get back out there?
It's fun just to play shows and connect with people. I feel like we're living in a time where connection is, again, sort of like not real connection. So to be able to, it's a real privilege to be able to get on stage and hang with people and commune together and sing songs and laugh. And it's like a rarer and rarer thing. It's pretty fun.
And I don't want to give anything away, but I did see on some of your socials, there's a big wheel behind you.
Yeah.
Called Wheel of Song.
Wheel of Song.
Can you break that down for us?
Since I have 13 or whatever, 14, 15, 100 albums, you never get back to the older songs. And so the Wheel of Song is this, it runs the show. So I spin it every couple songs and it tells us what to play. And it can go all the way back to the first record I ever made, which, to quote my kid, she said, "Oh, you're brave," because it's terrible.
No, that's brilliant. Because then you don't have off people like, no,
that's right, dude. And like we can blame the wheel.
Yeah.
And when the other night we defied the wheel in New Jersey, I didn't want to play what it had, so I moved it 1 click over, and we played the song, and I was like, I got this. And then the entire block, all the power went out. And the only thing that was lit were the exit signs in the room and the wheel.
Whoa.
And so, like, you can't defy the wheel. You have to follow what the wheel wants. And so that's just what I learned in New Jersey. We finished the set in the aisles acoustic because literally the block went out for the last third of our set. So we just kind of, 1,000 people, and we're like wandering it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't have a wheel. We have a box. It is the box of possibly unfortunate questions. McCabe made that himself.
I love it. This is did you make the top? No, the top.
I didn't actually. I bought the box.
That's an incredible box. Oh, so I get it. I see where you're involved. Yeah, they're having they're struggling.
I know that it's been a minute.
It's been at a couple of Lollapaloozas, but we were wondering if you could draw a few questions, hand them to us.
Yeah.
And we don't know what you're going to get.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Question number 1.
Looks like a ginormous fortune cookie.
I know. What's your guilty pleasure movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't. So I don't do guilty pleasures. I just do pleasures.
Okay.
But I would say ones that I love John Carpenter movies. So he did Escape from New York and They Live, and they're kind of campy. He did Halloween.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite, but they're just my pleasure. I love them. And so yeah, that would be probably, I like campy. I love bad 80s horror movies too, like Sleepaway Camp.
Okay.
Things that are like, they're really
I mean, the original, like Friday the 13th.
Really bad, but that's like high bar compared to, Prom Night.
Yeah.
Which is one of the worst movies of all time. So yeah, probably bad horror movies,
Okay.
and then campy John Carpenter stuff.
Solid selection.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's try another one. I love that you don't feel any sort of guilt watching them. You're just like, no.
Oh, dude, no way.
Okay, this one is, what's the weirdest thing you've received from a fan?
One fan. So I had a record a couple records ago that was talked about the city of San Francisco where I live. And so all the songs had different places in them. It was kind of like a celebration of how much I love San Francisco. And a fan decided that she would go to all those places, and then it was the time of when Twitter was the only real community, and would tweet at me where she was in the city. And she was getting closer and closer to my house, like as she progressed. And then she even went into this. I told a story in the newspaper about this woman that we all kind of fell in love with, who was a server at around the corner from the studio, a residential studio, like a little in Noe Valley, which is a neighborhood. And she literally went there and found this woman. And the last tweet that she sent was just a picture of her with this and this woman who was the server had like tattoos all on her neck and like we just were in love with her and intimidated by her for like the whole month that we recorded the record. And then finally at the end we admitted, my buddy Mike was like, we wrote a song about you, like because they were like, because I was trying to come up with lyrics for this song, and he was like, a song called Kink's Shirt, and he was like, we wrote a song about you. And I was like, oh, dude, you can't say this. I live here. Like, you can't. So anyway, long story short, not only do I live there and but this woman showed up and like got a selfie with this woman who looks horrified.
Wow.
She's like, I'm a Matt Nathanson fan, and he came in and this woman like Slayer, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't have any idea. And anyway, long story longer, about a year later when I went back to this place, she said, I walked in and she's just shaking her head, and she's like, I guess you're a big deal, like that people know you. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, this woman, I thought she was going to end up in my backyard petting my cat. That was where yeah, like, good to see you're home. I can't believe you used that shampoo,
I mean, have you seen her since, from Twitter to like Instagram?
No, dude, I never saw her. I mean, I saw her just in that one shot next to this woman, but I quickly blacked it out. I was like, I'm good, So yeah, I'm sure she comes to shows hopefully still, but sure who knows?
Yeah. That was a great one. These
Wild.
are good answers.
Yeah.
Let's go for another
see
one.
What else? I'm not looking.
Okay, not looking. All right, here we go. Describe your most bizarre life experience thus far.
Having a kid is a trip. That's the wildest ride I've ever been on in my life.
What's like the trippiest part about it?
She's just the most powerful human I've ever seen. And then watching kids, the part that's heartbreaking is watching like the world or her peers slam shut her wonder. That part is heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. But watching her power, I mean, she is the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in my whole life. And I get why my parents abandoned me. You know what I mean? Because like, she is, if I had to parent this kid without my wife helping and being the leader, I mean, dude, it's bananas.
Do you recommend being a parent?
Yeah, I think if it's your thing, but definitely don't do it if it's not your thing. We have enough of those in the world, like kids that have parents that suck. So I think that it's a job to take on, but it's bananas, dude.
Did she go on tour with you ever?
She did when she was little, but now she's in high school and doesn't have time. But and doesn't even acknowledge that I play music. Like, she said to me, what'd she say? Came back during. She's like, my friend. They're sort of weirdly mean, Sometimes girls, you know what I mean? Like, at like 13, 14, you know better than anybody, I'm sure. Like, they're vicious, and she's my kid is sort of a left of center human. Like, she doesn't really deal in hierarchy of social things. She's really just herself and her bold, brash, crazy, rad self. So anyway, she came back and she was like, my friend, there's little moments where she'll acknowledge what I do and the access that I have to things that maybe she would like, right? Like, but most of the time she just ignores me. And came back and she was like, this one girl who's sort of a, I can't swear, but sort of like, oh, I can swear?
Bleep it.
Sort of little kid, or whatever. She was like, she goes, well, so-and-so says that you're not even famous. And I was like, I'm more famous than her dad. I'll tell you that right now. How many monthly listeners does he have?
That's
So anyway, yeah. So that kind of thing where she's like, It's wild. So yeah, the kid is the wildest ride. That's a long answer to a long question, actually, on that.
Thank you so much for taking on our box, and we're looking forward to seeing you, Matt, tonight
Yeah,
at Cahn
fun.
Auditorium and tomorrow in Evanston.
Awesome.
Appreciate you stopping by the mix.
See ya.